Mr. Chairman, for the record, my name is Jordan Redman, representing District 3 in Kootenai County. And did I just hear a motion to adjourn? Today I bring before the committee House Bill 801, which deals with religious lands. Faith-based organizations are anchors of Idaho's communities, and they're uniquely positioned to understand and meet the needs of their neighbors. This bill would remove regulatory barriers that prevent churches and other religious institutions from using their land to respond to Idaho's housing needs. By simplifying the approval process, faith-based organizations will be able to advance their mission and turn the land they own into attainable homes for families around them. Churches often have underutilized land, and in partnership with nonprofits, they can serve these populations that desperately need the use of housing and other services such as daycare or counseling centers to continue the mission of their ministry. This bill does have guardrails that homeless shelters would not be allowed. Developments cannot be within a quarter mile of any heavy industrial use airports or military zones. Obviously, sewer and water, stormwaters, and other regular building codes will still apply. This legislation allows churches to better serve their communities and their congregants and the most vulnerable Idahoans that need housing and other services that our religious organizations can provide. This bill was brought by a number of different representatives that have worked on this, and I had a couple different churches up in my neck of the woods that had large tracts of land that they were unable to use to the highest and best potential, and so this was a solution that we thought could be a good option. With that, I would happily stand for any questions.
Committee, any questions? I see Crane, Representative Crane 13.
Yeah, that motion I made. Just kidding. Mr. Chairman and Representative Redman. So on page, I believe it's page 1 of the bill, lines 40 through 42, religious land means land owned by a religious organization or land leased for a term of no less than 40 years. Just curious, how did you guys come up with the determination that it had to be in the hands of a religious organization for 40 years?
Chairman Redman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Representative Crane. As far as the lease, oftentimes you'll see like religious organizations that are leased by a separate trust or something like that. And we thought 40 years was a good barrier or a entry point that would be long enough that they could continue out that mission without being, a 10-year lease or something like that.
Okay.
Okay. Representative Cheatham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Redman, what were the obstacles that you found in your area that prevented that land from being used?
Chairman Redman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mostly in the area, and that's still being worked on, truthfully. I mean, they're still going through the process, but it was time constraints as well as, just dealing with all the different things they needed to ask. So this is hopefully just trying to streamline the process for certain organizations that want to move into that.
Representative Veely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Redman, it has a requirement in here that a city cannot impose minimum parking requirements except as required by federal law. And I've been trying to find this as I was sitting here. It seems that federal law requires a certain number of ADA parking spaces, but no minimum parking space, unless I'm mistaken, which I very easily could. Does that mean that we can put multifamily units in and have zero parking?
Chairman Redman.
Thank you, Chairman and Representative Veely. I think the thought there was another use that we could see, like somebody possibly trying to ban them effectively by adding higher parking constraints. And so the thought there was just trying to get that out of, so we couldn't see poison pill essentially in there to hurt parking or, use parking as a way that they couldn't build.
Follow up, Representative Veely.
So I guess my follow-up, Mr. Chairman, to Chairman Redman, if there's no federal requirements for parking, this would mean that they don't have to provide parking. And is that your intention, that we could put in these multifamily without any parking whatsoever?
Representative Redman.
Thank you, Chairman. And Representative Veely, no, that's not the intention at all. I mean, I would hope that anyone that was looking at doing this, which I think would be a very small amount of anyone looking at using their religious land, I would hope they would put in, sufficient parking. Again, that was an idea to try not to have a poison pill in the bill where they could say, okay, now you have to provide, multiple parking spots for some of these groups. So.
Follow up, Representative Veely.
No.
Okay. Representative Green.
Thank you, Chairman and Representative. I really like this idea, so I'm just trying to get myself there with, and I would like to get your opinion in particular page, sorry, I think it's page 1. Where did it go? It's page 2, line 18. So I'm reading this: for multifamily or mixed-use development on religious land, a city shall not restrict building height to less than 40 feet or 3 stories. So how big can I build my building?
Chairman Redman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Representative Green. So again, that language is in there for, again, the same thought of the poison pill, but as we have talked offline, I'd be very open to amendments to that.
Fabulous, because I'm reading that they can go higher than that. And then the follow-up piece would be...
Follow-up, Representative Green.
Chairman, I've been at this for a while. We're just getting tired. Thank you, Chairman, Representative. And to follow up, my concerns are, and to your point, I'd like to see about amending this, and I'll speak to that. My concern is how I read this, and several other people read it this way too, just to make sure that's on the record. My concern would be that single-family home with a 4-story multifamily building behind it, setback 10 feet. So essentially, they're looking into your backyard. I would love to see us modify this to say, okay, based off of height, then that setback gets longer or wider, I suppose. So it's, if you go 2 stories, the setback's 15 feet of the setback, 3 stories and so forth. So that way they're not looking straight into the back of somebody else's home. So if you're amendable to that, it would get me to a yes. So,
Chairman Redman, I
Thank you,
believe
Mr.
there's a question. out
Yeah,
there.
thank you, Mr. Chairman and Representative Green. I am very amendable to amendments.
Representative Cheatham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Chairman Redman. On page 2, line 8, it talks about sections that shall not be applicable, and it mentions airports. I served on the airport committee in the city of Pocatello for 8 years, and we had some problems at our airport with trying to build facilities that interfered with FAA restrictions on nearness to airports. Is this an attempt to go around those regulations or take the city out of that kind of control?
Chairman Redman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Representative Cheatham. No, not at all. I mean, nothing in this would interfere with FAA guidelines. So we have a airport up in Coeur d'Alene as well, and everyone still has to follow the FAA guidelines for approaches and that type of thing. So nothing in this would interfere with that.
Representative Veely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman Redman, I realize, that Representative Green is a nicer person, but if she can get amendments, I wonder if I could for parking. Because I think that right now, the way this reads, I don't think you have to provide parking. And that, I'm just a little concerned with that, so.
Chairman Redman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Representative Veely. Yes, in discussions with this, meeting with the committee, I do believe there will be some amendments. And so, again, I'm very amenable to amendments.
Representative Crane 13.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maybe to kind of help the committee out here, I've talked with the chairman a little bit. I'm going to make a motion that we hold this subject to the call of the chair and allow members to submit some amendments and work with the chairman to try to come up with a solution. I've got concerns about this religious land issue as well, your definition. So I'd move that we hold House Bill 801 subject to call the chair so he can bring it back whenever those amendments are ready.
Okay, committee, we do have a motion properly before us to hold House Bill 801 subject to call of the chair. I do have a question myself, Mr. Chairman. I'm just trying to see if I could find it in the language. Religious properties oftentimes have a tax exemption. Would that tax exemption extend to these developments that end up potentially being things besides churches?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And yes, I mean, the 501c3 exemption status would still apply to anything within that property. So yes, I mean, that would extend.
Okay. Okay, committee, Representative Cheatham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Chairman Redman. But to be a religious organization, you don't have to be a 501c3. So would those two things necessarily have to go together for this to apply?
Chairman Redman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Representative Cheatham. So in this, we define it as a 501c3 or a 501c4 in this language.
Okay, Representative Green.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm going to support the motion as long as we go to those amendments. I'd like to see it come back. I think we've seen this play out on one church in Northwest Boise, and yeah, they're being able to provide opportunities for housing. I just think we need to clean up some of these things so we can be kind to our neighbors when they do these developments.
Okay, I think that was comment. Committee, any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, we do have a motion properly before us to hold House Bill 801 subject to call of the chair. And so all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay.